today I'm going to discuss anger with you. It's not my usual type of video, but I want to start a bit of a different, take the channel on a bit of a different slant. I'm still going to do book reviews, tarot card reviews, but the videos I'm going to do on sort of relationships, spiritual growth have all been part of who I am today and how I got to be literally who I am. Now, I was watching a video last night and it was somebody discussing anger, and it really brought up for me thoughts about my own anger. As a younger person, I used to be incredibly angry. You know, I'm not a saint by any means, and I still have to work on anger. I'm 1,000 times better than what I used to be, but there's still this passionate, raging bull in me that I have to hold down, you know, at times. I spend a lot of time working on that. Things that I used to react to, I now let go. Now, the reasons behind that is because my anger in the past, and not only has it affected my mental health, my physical health, but my own anger has scared me. You know, and that's not a comfortable position to be in, you know, and it's not the person I want to be. You know, so whilst having a word with myself and thinking about this video, I went back and almost went back somewhat to my past, and I've made realisations about myself, that there's aspects of my own path that perhaps are still lingering and deserve another look, you know, because it's continual growth, you know. We look at one thing in our past, we get over it, but perhaps there's still threads that at a later date need looking at again. Now, for me, what caused my anger was feelings of abandonment from my mother from an early age. I've mentioned it in other videos that I don't get on with my mum. And it's because these feelings of worthlessness, rejection, have been part of my life almost since day one, you know. She left, and my father and fiddling because I'm a bit anxious. I'm going to hold these deck of cards, I'm going to shuffle them. It's got nothing to do with tarot on this video, but you know, it's a raw subject for me, so bear with me with that. As I was saying, my mum left when I was 18 months. You know, she used to come in and out of my life. You know, there was no stability there with my mum. But you know, she was the absent parent. I live with my father, and as you know, sometimes the absent parent can be almost idolised as a god. You know. And that was how she was for me. And I had her way up on the pedestal, you know, and of course she's a human being. I've accepted that. People fall off their pedestals. As it happens, I've come to learn over the years, you know, I'm mid-30s, you know, that actually she's a woman with a lot of her own problems, you know, perhaps stemming from her own childhood. But she's one of those toxic people to me, and she can't be in my life at all, you know, and I've accepted that. Sometimes it hurts, but that's how it is. But yeah, my core beliefs from myself, we gain our core beliefs about who we are as people, come from our childhoods, you know, as we're learning and developing. Who are we? Where do we belong in life, you know? So my core beliefs were those of abandonment, those of feelings of worthlessness. I felt that I was unlovable rejected. I felt that I couldn't express myself. So I acted out. And of course, people, parents, other role models, teachers, they would respond to that acting out. I was reckless, I was going out doing this, that and the other, I ended up in children's homes, which then furthered my sense of abandonment, rejection. And people just see me as this naughty kid. Now, you know what? Even to this day, I've had it very recently, with a family member sort of said, said a comment, and it offended me, But when you have this repeatedly, and I'm not saying I wasn't hard work. It affects your spirit. It affects your soul. I got very, very ill physically. Physically, my hair was falling out. My hair used to fall out. Used to come out in clumps. I used to brush my hair, and my hair would fall out. I had so much anger within me. I used to have social workers saying, just let go, forgive, and it would sort of go in there, come out there. I didn't have a clue what they were on about, and I couldn't work it out, just meaningless words. I later understood the concept of forgiveness as I matured. But my mental health suffered. I was very, very ill. I was hallucinating, and basically it took 17 years to get a diagnosis. But it consumes us. Anger is a very strong emotion. I just found a book from years ago, and I'm not doing a book review, so I'm not going to go into it. But I've highlighted a bit. Now this was years ago that I did this in this book. But I want to read it. I was the one with an attitude, the nonconformist, the angry one. I rallied against the status quo. I broke all the rules. When I was living at home, my parents were unaware of my experimentation with alcohol and drugs, but my foul moods and temper tantrums did affect the family's attention. Through a combination of acting out and my family's negative reactions, I continually reinforced my core belief that I was unlovable and worthless. That carried on for years upon years upon years. And then, as I got older, I would get into relationships and I would be unable to control my anger. If something happened, perhaps we would have an argument, I would completely go absolutely over the top and go off my rocker. And then of course the relationship would end. And then I would say, oh, well, I knew he was going to abandon me anyway. So that relationship would further my subconscious belief that I was worthless and unlovable. It wasn't. It was the end of a relationship or bad behaviour or just you're having a relationship in your younger days and that's what happens. But that would continually keep happening till eventually I become cold, I'd experienced so much hurt and I had so much anger. I built up this impenetrable wall around me. Nobody would get in. I couldn't accept any love, any affection, because if I let somebody too close to me, they would hurt me. And I've cried so many tears, and crying so much used to physically hurt, really, really wasn't a good place to be, As the years go on, I've had to work on loving myself, because I think that's key when it comes to anger, because you can't carry on being angry all the time. You know, you lose everything. You lose your family, you lose your friends, you lose yourself. And this is yourself which is, in a sense, the most important, because it's your physical self. You know, you start getting headaches, you start getting backaches, you start getting other problems. And sorry, this is my foster dog, Lexi. Hello, Lex. Yeah, and sorry, it's how holistically how everything affects your physical self, and that is very true. You know, I used to have excruciating headaches. You know, even now, you know, you can see the remnants of, you know, this is eczema on my skin, and they say it's caused by stress. You know, it's how my body is responding physiologically to stress. So you can't keep allowing yourself to be ill. So you have to address this anger. You know, you can't keep doing this. Perhaps you've been arrested. You know, you're getting a criminal record. It's affecting your work, relationships, friendships, money, your home. I've had to sit in a lot of therapy. I used to have to go once a week, sit in a group where they put us in difficult situations so we could learn to cope with the emotion. You know, I used to sit there rocking and stuff. You know, it's crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Nowadays, I walk away from an awful lot, which sometimes leaves me feeling as if I'm a doormat. But you know what? It isn't me being a doormat. It's me being responsible. You know, to even get to the point of being able to let go and move on without thinking people are consistently taking advantage and not getting any sort of reaction or consequence from me, left me really feeling vulnerable. And I had to even do a lot of work around that. So how have I turned into who I am now, and who am I today? You know, I live a quiet life. You know, I very much enjoy my own company. I do enjoy the company of others, as I've already mentioned. I go out, I spend time with people, and then I come back to myself, you know. I work on being grounded, I work on being centred. I like to read. Reading helps bring me down, you know, because I do find a lot of things overwhelming. So I meditate. I journal. I spend a lot of time in nature. You know, when things come up for me, I pause. The thing that's been fabulous for me is I've had a lot of therapy. I've learned a lot of skills to help me cope in life, and I utilise what I've learned as and when required, you know. I don't allow myself to sort of be in a victim state, you know. I don't no longer hold on to things. You know, if someone wrongs me, as I've mentioned, they're just gone. You know, I've actually had people say to me, that's not the right way. Oh, you shouldn't do it, you're running away. No, it works for me. And it isn't about what works for him, her, or another person, or what it says in the textbook. It works for me. This is how I have to do things. And I think that is understanding what makes you tick. And it's when you get to that understanding through self-analysis, you grow, and hopefully get to a point where you can start overcoming or working on your demons. But thank you. If you'd like to make a comment, I'd really appreciate to hear back how you cope with your anger.